Hey Nathan, it's August 6th. Today is Brainiac Tuesday, arguably the nerdiest day of YouTube's Geek Week. Many people frequently use the terms geek and nerd interchangeably, especially when using them in a derogatory manner. But others maintain that the titles entail somewhat different definitions. While the word started out as derisive, nerds and geeks alike have embraced these terms as descriptive of their lifestyles and interests. I see it as a step forward in accepting people's varying preferences in our increasingly diverse culture. I highly doubt that YouTube would boast a Geek Week featuring and praising some of its most popular, entertaining, and educational channels if geek was still a term held in a negative light. So what's the difference between nerds and geeks? Lots of people have their own definitions, but there are two characteristics that I believe are definitive in distinguishing nerds from geeks. Now, it is true that very many interests of nerds and geeks overlap, and that it's very well possible to be a nerd and a geek. But geeks and nerds have very different, let's say, styles about them. To be a nerd, one must have book smarts. In school, nerds are the ones who get the good grades, more specifically in math and science, but are still overall scholarly and driven students. They're the ones who participate in book clubs, science fairs, scholars bowl, any kind of competition or club where you try to advance your knowledge and show it off. While there are many geeks who are good at school and get good grades, this is not a requirement of the geek label. One trait necessary of a geek is super fandom. Whether it's a movie like Star Wars, a book series like Harry Potter or Twilight, an anime TV show, a certain universe of comic book superheroes, or a video game series. To be a geek, one must be obsessed with something. Obsessed to a point of knowing practically everything there is to know about a certain universe in which these storylines occur. Nerds aren't necessarily known for this obsessive super fandom and tend to stay in the realm of literary science fiction and possibly fantasy. Of course, these are broad stereotypes that some people fit into, but most tend to overlap, which is why YouTube's theme today, Brainiac Tuesday, is an important one. Many geeks do value intelligence, the advancement of technology, and new discoveries. The ability to gain and develop our overall knowledge as a species is a defining trait of what it means to be human. We humans are not a stagnant, unchanging, static group. We are constantly growing and improving ourselves to make our futures better for our descendants. As inherent explorers, we constantly want to know how and why things are, were, and will be, and only with the advancement of our collective knowledge will we ever arrive at these answers. So I give kudos to YouTube for being a forerunner in advancing human knowledge, in particular with their incredible focus on their YouTube Educators program, helping to share knowledge with people all over the world. So today, please take some time to learn something new or teach someone something that they didn't know. Leave a comment, tell me something you learned about today. Help spread the wealth of knowledge. Yeah. Want some suggestions for interesting videos to watch? Check out these awesome YouTube educators for some reliable and fascinating videos on practically anything you can think of. Nathan, I'll see you tomorrow for Super Wednesday!